building get LEED certificate, استدامة certificate, but once it's handed over to the facility management, they don't know how to operate it or what they require to make sure this building, it will be running as it's designed and as it's built. So there should be kind of organization who can go in and inspect or monitor those buildings in order to ensure that building is running as per the design or as per the certificate. Because most of the client, they are building the building, they are focusing on getting LEED building during marketing, selling the units, and after that, over, finish. Again, when we come and talk about sustainability development and facility management, we found there is a many drivers it's required to link both together. And that driver is coming under awareness on environment issue. There is many of facility managers, they don't know what's the required, why we are talking about sustainability. What's important for us? If I reduce the electricity bill, yes, okay, money saving is there, but how going to help the environment? So the awareness session is required, especially for facility management professions. Again, as I say, there is also two challenges. That's the increase in building stocks and the advancement of technology. There is a lot of building now coming with a new technology. That technology have to be transferred from construction management team to the facility management team. The facility management team have to understand all the new technology which has been implemented during construction and during building or design the new buildings. And also there is a lot of gap of knowledge between construction team and facility management team. That knowledge have to be transferred, have to be minimized as much as we can in order to enable the facility management team to manage the building in same aspect how the building has been built. Again, the questionnaire survey has been sent for 116 participants, and we get reserve valid around 65%, which is 76. And from that questionnaire survey, we define the baseline. We define where we are. There is many of the operational building, yes, they are interested to convert the building from normal building, traditional building, using halogen light, using many things, to a green building. And they are working in an uniform way. Yes, I need to reduce water, I need to reduce cooling bill, I need to improve delta T, I need to improve the electricity bill. It should be uniform. That's what we are talking about, the baseline. And based on that, when you go to the paper, when you find the study, we define techniques and practice has been put as a framework. That's called Framework Sustainability Facility Management Technique and Practice. And this technique and practice, we pick around 12 ideas from that one, and we implemented in the case study in order to prove that's going to work. So, case study has been done for one unique hotels in downtown Dubai, and that hotel details its basement, ground, 4 parking plus 25 typical floors. And that hotel is connected directly with DEWA connection, and they are using something called, which is district cooling chilled water. Sorry if it's not clear, but it was. This is the 12th idea which we are taking and implementing through the building in order to prove for building owner, when you are going to convert your building or your facility management strategy from normal facility management to sustainability facility management, will be add value for your building. And the money which you are going to invest, it will be pay back within time of period. So we take just a 12 point and we implement it physically through the building by comparing and taking the electrical bill and showing the reduction which is happening day to day. Okay. And once we implement this building, we found that there is a potential of total savings come around 30% of cooling system, and 16% of electricity, and 30% of water consumption. So in total, annually, we can achieve around 16% from the energy consumption on this building. And that saving will be converted by money. It's coming around $500,000 dirham, which can be paid back within 13 months. So that can be get a clear idea for the owner. The money which you are going to invest is going to be paid back to you within 13 months. Plus, will be give a proof for the facility manager who's managing the building, who's managing the asset, by converting from normal facility management to sustainable facility management. That will be improve the value of your organization. And that can be improve the life cycle of the asset. Again, we should make sure when we implement any sustainability techniques or any sustainability idea within facility management, it should be not affect the comfort level of the end user or the occupants. That is very important, because there is many ideas, or when we are conducting the questionnaire survey, we found many facility managers, they are saying, yes, we reduce consumption, we reduce the electricity bill by switch off the AC, which is affect the end user comfort level. The limitation of this study, we found in facility management, there is not enough data, there is not enough study has been done on this part. There is no baseline. We need to enhance people to make more research to define the baseline of operational building, of the old building, where we are and where we need to reach, and what the target, and how much we have to achieve on that. The conclusion, the stock of existing building is rising rapidly, wholly new construction activity, and decreasing due to mature of land use. And again, the pollution of all over the world and the human activity does force us to focus about sustainability and to focus about this important element, the operational building, have to be converted to sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir, for this very interesting presentation. Anybody has any questions for Mr. Ihab? Please.
I have a question and a comment, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I do agree with you in the sense that, yes, we lose most of that information as we move on from construction to operation, especially if we're operating that particular facility for a long time. And the new buildings, we have things like building information modeling, somehow, that helps in overcoming this problem. However, with existing building, that has been, as you say, 20 years old, that's time. So my question to you is, have you considered using technologies to map that as-built facility, somehow transfer it into compatible, if you like, BIM, so that you can help the facility manager to use it in the future? And the second point of the question is the law of diminishing returns. I was very pleased to hear you talking about what's in it for the owner in terms of the payback period and when they're going to recover that. But what happens next after those 15 months? Are we going to be steady state and we say, that's it, facility manager is doing the routine work, there is nothing else I can replace, this is the best, this is the optimum? Or, what's going to happen after that?
Regarding the question number one, as I mentioned, we have to convert from traditional facility management to sustainable facility management. And by using the advanced technology, this is one of the very important techniques or practice should be adapted when we are transferring from FM to SFM. Okay, and BIM or KFM, this both tools or technology tools, it should be implemented when you are using. But still, I'm telling you, I'm one of the part of UAE market, and I'm telling you, around 70% of facility management companies, they don't know anything about technology. That's what should be forced to use. Second thing, I mentioned we should be defined sustainability framework or sustainability FM framework that should be handled around 120 techniques or practice can be used in the building. I take in case study just the 12 techniques and I implemented in the building to prove for the owner if you use this 12 technique that can be paid back to you within 13 months. But definitely he should be continue using that one to improve the building day by day. But I can't come and I tell for the owner to implement the 120 idea, you need to spend 10 million. Definitely he will be rejected. But when we are telling, yeah, there is 700,000 can be spent, which will be paid back to you within 13 months, it can be accepted by the building owners.
Thank you very much for this. Thanks for very interesting presentations in this session. If anybody has any more questions, I'll leave over the lunch. We can discuss more with the presenters. The lunch is served on the ground floor right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Decent work and economic growth.
Decent
work and economic growth.
And economic growth.
Yes.
And that is supported by what? The first one?
This one.
From the arrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's supported by securitization.
Securitization. Okay.
Yes.
On what basis did you classify these financial options?
On the basis of the project life cycle, yeah. And then on the basis of the amount of funds that could be generated from the different financial.
And this funding is available in the market? In the banking sector, all of them?
Yes, most of them are really not just the banking sector instruments. It's a combination of both the banking sector and the private sector, but they are all available in the market. Okay. Loan syndication, for instance, is a consortium of banks. It could be from 2 to 30 banks.
Okay.
Or more.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, I thank you very much indeed for this presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
The second presentation by the title of The Role of Insurance Sector in Protecting the GCC Economists Through Risk Management Practices
بس دقيقة.
and
لا.
the Impact of Climate Change by Dr. Saad Droush from Applied Science University.
وين أمرتك؟ شو اسمه؟
اسمه determinant.
It's pity you came after lunch. You are all sleeping now. Right. Okay. You just put my slides, please. Yeah.
Dr. Saad, just 10 minutes presentation.
Okay.
Probably 5 minutes.
Right. Okay. Yes, that's quite good now. I will start my presentation with some photos I extracted from the internet while filling the paper. And I noticed how horrifying it is now for us living in this part of the world and the risks we are facing in the future and the changes in the environment happening so fast and so effective that the economies in these countries, also, although they are rich countries, are facing challenges. Now you notice here all these photos. Now here you have the renewable energy. Here you have the dust storm or sandstorm, the flooding, the problems with the drought, again, flooding, desalination, drought. All these things are putting pressures on the governments and the people. And the plans to face these kind of risks is really less than expected. The money allocated for such kind of defenses that we need for the future to have a sustainable economy and sustainable future are really scarce. Now, the theory that I'm trying to present here is related to one of the most important issues in the economy, insurance. From my paper, I noticed that the insurance companies are not really touching on these future risks facing the economies in the Gulf and the GCC. One of the things, the money collected for the insurance companies or collected by the insurance companies in terms of premiums, in order to recycle them for investment, they do the investment in property, they do investment in trust. They don't do investment in sustainable projects or sustainable energy or sustainable, whatever sustains society. They have other priorities. So I think the theme of this paper is that the insurance companies should have a key role to support the GCC economies for the future. Why is that? Because the insurance companies are making a lot of progress and development in the area, and they are fruitful, sustainable, making a lot of changes in the protection of other insurances, not the climate change. So here the purpose of the paper is to identify how climate change will affect the economies of the GCC and how the insurance sector can help in creating economic stability of these countries through risk management and insurance mechanisms. So as I said at the beginning, these are the main themes which I'm trying to reflect today. The climate change is one of the biggest challenges to humanity, which my colleague this morning spoke about it for about 15 minutes or even 20 minutes. And it's also impeding economic performance growth. Research shows that climate change will have far-ranging effects on GCC countries. All the research I've been through, I read, I noticed all of them, they are pointing at one thing. Climate change, there's a problem there. There's a great problem facing the GCC. Now, if we ask ourselves what the GCC are doing, there are a lot of projects, but it is in its infancy. It's still not very effective, needs more work, because this should be associated with the renewable energy as well, which I'm going to touch on later. Now, the changes in the climate may aggravate already existing challenges, and they are, I put here something like 9 challenges: the water scarcity, no rivers, no rain, no underground waters, or even if they are available, they are very limited. The population is growing. If you see the population growth rates for the last 25 years, it's a huge in comparison to other countries. On the other hand, we have desertification. The desert is moving and pulling towards more areas of being non-green. The temperature is increasing because of the climate change. Every country in the world is affected by this. The damaged arid lands, food security, loss of biodiversity, rise in sea levels. They say every year we have 1 centimeter of increase. I mean, I didn't get the statistics, but I read in some of the articles that the rise of the sea is something going to affect all the planet. Then the humidity in this area is also another important challenge. The rise in sea level, almost all the countries located in the Arabian Peninsula border the ocean, at least on one side, sea level rise, the major concern for all countries. All the countries in the Arab Gulf are suffering or will be facing this in the future. Kingdom of Bahrain may get inundated, experts say, in the next 25, 50 years. Dubai, the sea levels may harm the coastlines. And as you know, perhaps when we visit Dubai and Qatar and Oman, we can see the huge number of buildings built on the coastal line. Water availability, water is depleting. The chances of getting water is very limited. In Saudi Arabia, the reliance on groundwater from deep aquifers is most damaging, and this source is non-renewable. According to estimates, population of Saudi Arabia, for instance, may increase as much as 77% by 2050, thus decreasing the water reserves. More people are using water, and there are no controls over water and our usage, daily usage at homes and hotels. Bahrain, rapid urbanization has led to loss of precious natural resources, mainly groundwater. They say in Bahrain, they used to have 1,000 wells all over Bahrain. This is a small area. Now none. Other GCC, majority GCC countries have increasingly been installing these energy-intensive plants for desalination. Now, the legislation. The Middle East governments and in GCC as well are gradually considering issues of environmental change, and this is done through the United Nations, as my colleague here mentioned in her presentation. But from my search, I found it is really minimal. More effort should be put into legislation to face the new wave of climate change. Now, my bit here, I think the insurance company, they have an ethical role to their economies and to their countries. This sector has encountered in GCC consistent development. It has grown immensely. Of course, the GCC insurance companies are all international companies from different parts of the world. They are well established. They have good statistics. They know exactly what's happening in terms of risk management in the area. And the market share of the non-life insurance is really high and increasing. Now, the key growth drivers, the population is expanding in GCC, along with the huge number of foreigners. The increasing life expectancy leads to the demand of more insurance products and services. I'm talking about insurance now. The other driver, there is a unified insurance system. When I say unified, it's not controlled by one, but they are very much aligned to each other in the GCC countries. The insurance companies, I'm finished. Risk management, the economic uncertainty, assets are mostly within the coastal zones. The worldwide environment, upsurge sea levels up, pronounced investment risk, insurers, regulators. The conclusion, finished. Extreme hotness will aggravate the water shortage. Deterioration of the present condition of food security. Most of the food in this part of the world is imported. I mean, there isn't enough farms and agriculture. It is very limited. Then the potential for renewable energy to face the use of energy and the effect of energy on the economy. And then the insurance firms can do great part to stimulate threat risk controlling strategies. I think we should rely on the insurance companies on this, and they can do a very good job. Accomplish portfolio of potential hazards. These companies could do that and help the economies. Finally, I propose to have a conference on climate change with insurance companies in the Gulf. Thank you so much.
Our third presentation title is Perception of the Determinants of Auditor's Fee in Bahraini listed companies, and it's an empirical study by Dr. Hussein Khasharma from Applied Science University.
Titles: The Perception of Determinants of Auditor Fees in Bahraini listed companies, empirical study. I really tackled this topic because I consider the auditing is the cornerstone of the sustainability. Therefore, we will go through the determinants of audit fees. Now, generally, those who are interested in audit fees are two sides: the company, the clients, and the auditors. Both of them are really wants to reach a point where the company pay reasonable fees and get high service, whereas the auditors wants to reach the point where they receive good fees equally to the service provided with a sufficient amount. Okay, problem statement, because it is an empirical study. Really, most of the literature has been conducted in developed countries, whereas very few of this type of project is conducted in developed countries, especially in Bahrain. That's the reason why the problem statement then of the study may be highlighted by providing answer for the following questions. The first, does the size of audit firm affect audit fees? We have the determinants of this size, the client size. The second one is or the third one. Does the complexity of the client affect audit fees? That's another one. Profitability affect audit fees. Size or corporate risk affect audit fees. Also, corporate year end and time lag of the client between the end of the year end and audit report date should be date affect audit fees. Does the size of the client affect audit fees? Does seasonality of the client affect audit fees? These are the factors that we are facing, or the problem. Therefore, we need to find whether there is a relationship between the audit fees and these factors. Motivation of the study. Motivation. Bahrain. Yes, Bahrain is the heart of the Gulf and enjoys stable political. The secondly is this study try to reduce the gap or narrow the gap between developed and developing countries, and also investigate the uniqueness. The current study intends to investigate the uniqueness of Bahraini environment in which we offer this study. Okay, contribution of the study. The current study contributes to the literature by signaling the determinants of the audit fees, one, and also it is conducted in a unique region, and thirdly, it is expected to provide empirical evidence about these determinants. The major contribution, Okay, objectives of the study: first, investigate the determinants of audit fees. The secondly, aim to reveal whether audit fee charges differ according to these factors. And also, I don't want to go through the Bahrain environment because the time is very tight. Therefore, I will go to the hypothesis. There is a significant relationship between corporate size and audit fees, and also all the hypotheses will be the same. There is a significant relationship between corporate complexity and audit fees, between corporate risk and audit fees, and so on. Okay, limitation of the study. The study is limited to listed companies, publicly listed companies in Bahrain. However, what about private? We did not tackle the private companies, and this was one of the limitations. Data collection. We use a questionnaire to collect data and measured according to 5-point scale and so on. But we use reliability, and I want to go to the conclusion now. Conclusion: the current study empirically investigates the perceptions of the three groups working in listed Bahraini firms, as financial managers, accountants, and internal auditors, on the determinants of audit fees. The study concluded that corporate year end and time lag between year end date and audit report, size of the public auditing, these are the top factors, and international link and corporate size are important determinants of audit fees in listed companies, whereas the others comes after that. I think recommendations. we can recommend future research is needed to investigate this issue in other developing countries. Secondly, we need also suggest that other respondents groups such as external auditors, shareholders must be included, and there is a need to conduct same study after a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Time is perfect.
Okay.
And still some time if there is any question to Dr. Hussein. Any question, any comment, any suggestion? Okay. So I thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Last but not least in this session is the presentation titled The Importance of the Agriculture Sector in Achieving Relative Food Security in the Kingdom of Bahrain by Dr. Raghab Ismail from Applied Science University.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. We will talk today about the importance of the agriculture sector in achieving relative food security in Kingdom of Bahrain. The Kingdom of Bahrain has taken several steps to adopt the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 after building on its experience and expertise in achieving the Millennium Development Goals. It paid great attention to these goals and was strongly committed to achieving them since their endorsement in 2000. Importance of study. Agriculture in the Kingdom of Bahrain has witnessed many changes recently affecting its role in the development and food security of the country. The urbanization of the green area, increasing depletion of groundwater, and the reduction in the number of Bahraini agriculture workers have directly affected the country's agriculture growth and food security. The aim of study. Because of Bahrain imports more than 90% of its needs from food commodities, the aim of this research is to make Bahrain cover more than 50% of its food needs during the next 10 years, and to benefit from other countries' experiences in this field and increase agriculture sector contribution to the national economy. In this context, the importance of the National Strategy for Sustainable Agricultural Development as an integrated plan to improve the agriculture situation in the country, including objectives and programs that achieve agriculture growth. The findings will be useful for achieving the Bahrain Economic Vision 2030. Study problem. Approximately 11% of Bahrain's total land is arable. The area of arable land in Bahrain amounted to 6,400 hectares, of which the agriculture use does not exceed 4,400 hectares, or 69% of the total agricultural land in the country is used. The value of agriculture output, both vegetables and animal, amounted to 16.2 million dinars, with a contribution of 0.32% of GDP, gross domestic product. The value of food imports amounted to more than 202 million Bahraini dinars. The trade balance deficit in Bahrain is almost 173 million Bahrainian dinar. So there are a lot of problems related with agricultural sector in Bahrain. In this schedule or in this table, we can see that the contribution of agriculture sector in Bahrain is about 0.3%, comparing with other economic sectors like the oil sector and the industry sector and the financial project sector, which share by 17%. So the agricultural sector is very low comparing with other economic sectors. From 2006 to 2016, we can see that there are increase in GDP from agriculture. It become 17.7 million and catch 34.95 in 2016. There are increasing in GDP, our Bahrain GDP from agriculture, but still in 2016 it is still low comparing with other factors. Results. The agricultural sector in Bahrain is plagued by a number of structural problems. Urban expansion in recent years has caused a significant loss of traditional agricultural areas. Problems with water logging and soil salinization have further reducing the availability of arable land. Issues also exist with insurance or insecure land tenure practices. The small size of farm holdings, which average 2.5 hectares, labor shortages, and an inability to compete with imports and a lack of financial incentives. These factors restrict investment in this sector, or in the agriculture sector. Recommendations. Government has to do some steps or some important points to solve this problem. First, the government has to increase its encouraging agricultural development in both the public sector and private sector. Two, encouraging towards crops that have a comparative advantage, high value. The government should also encourage non-traditional agriculture and agriculture, encouraging productive agriculture in the courtyards and the roofs of houses and government institutions. Also, expand the production and investment